Hello everyone, welcome to day 3 of your geometry QPA. Just to frame where we have been looking at geometric patterns in different contexts. Specifically, we've been looking at Mondrian paintings, Frank Lloyd Wright stained glass patterns, as well as quilt patterns. The standards that we are focusing on have to do with identifying sequences of transformations, performing sequences of transformations, and describing characteristics of shapes after performing rigid transformations. Our social-emotional metacognitive skills are communication, and specifically around using mathematical symbols accurately and consistently, as well as resilience and persevering in interpreting our task, as well as checking for reasonableness. By now, you should have completed part 1 about rigid transformations and properties of shapes, as well as part 1B, which is ORQ practice, both of which will help set you up for success on your IA or your Unit 2 test. Yesterday, you should have done your identifying sequences for triangles in your different patterns, as well as identifying sequences of transformations of quadrilaterals. Today, what you'll be working on is designing your own pattern. You're going to create your own pattern based on a Mondrian pattern, Frank Lloyd Wright stained glass, or a quilt pattern using the coordinate plane below. Your pattern must meet the following criteria. You must draw 2 different types of triangles and 2 different quadrilaterals. So that means you could have perhaps a scalene triangle, an isosceles triangle, and then maybe a rectangle and a rhombus. Or maybe you want a right triangle and an obtuse triangle and a parallelogram and a square. It doesn't really matter which ones you choose, but you have to have 2 triangles and 2 quadrilaterals. Your 2 triangles must be different and your 2 quadrilaterals must be different. Additionally, each triangle and each quadrilateral must be in a different quadrant. So that means that your original pre-images are going to be in different quadrants. Your triangles are going to be labeled with A, B, C, and D, E, F for your pre-images, and your quadrilaterals will be labeled with G, H, I, J, and K, L, M, N for your pre-images of your quadrilaterals. Next, you are going to perform the following transformations in any order and over any line of reflection and any direction. So, for example, looks like at ABC. So one of your triangles needs to you need to perform a translation and a rotation by 90 degrees. However, you have complete choice in whether or not you do your rotation first or your translation. You also get to decide how you want to translate it in terms of number of units left to right or up and down, as well as your rotation about in which direction or around a point or an origin. So you could rotate it around the origin, you could also rotate it around a vertex. With your second triangle, you need to do a reflection over any line and a translation. You could choose to do the translation first, or you could choose to do the reflection first. Either one is fine. You get to choose what you are reflecting the figure over, and you get to choose the direction of your translation. With G, H, I, J, this quadrilateral, you'll need to do another rotation in any direction and about any point and a reflection. Alternatively, you could do the reflection first and the rotation second. Lastly, with your quadrilateral KLMN, you're going to do a 180-degree rotation about the origin and a translation. Or you could do a translation and then do your 180-degree rotation about the origin. For each of these, you're going to describe the transformation, plot and list the coordinate points, and use algebraic notation for translations, and finally complete your design. I had originally created one for you. However, today when I attended the Chelsea Academic Showcase for Math, I actually liked some of the patterns more than I liked my pattern. So I'm going to show you one of the patterns. It doesn't look like it's completed, but it is off to a really great start. So I'm going to try to zoom out for you. So you can see here, I still need to zoom out a little bit. 1 second. There we go. So as you can see here, this student has 2 different types of triangles, and they're in different quadrants. Now in this case, you can see they didn't quite follow the directions. They do have 2 types of quadrilaterals, but they're the same type of quadrilateral. So the feedback that I'd give to the student is about following directions and making sure that they are using different types of quadrilaterals. What I do like though is I can see the pre-image, the post-image, and then the post-image of the post-image for each of these shapes, and all of the vertices are labeled. So what I mean by that is if we were to take shape ABC, I would be able to see ABC, A prime, B prime, C prime, as well as A double prime, B double prime, C double prime. So you have the pre-image, the post-image, and then the post-image after the post-image for each of these shapes. So in addition to fixing this to make sure that they have 2 different types of quadrilaterals, we would want to make sure that you are using your table to show your sequence. So you are going to describe the sequence that you took, and then labeling out the coordinate points for each of the pre-image, post-image, and the post-image of the post-image figures. If you would prefer to create your design first and then create this and then determine the sequence to map your shapes to one another, that is also fine. Both of those work. However, you need to have a completed pattern that meets the criteria, as well as completing the sequence, your coordinate points, as well as your reflection. This entire QPA will be due on Tuesday at 5 p.m. So you need to have completed parts 1, 2, and 3 at that time. All of these skills, whether it's performing transformations, whether it's identifying sequences of transformations, or even properties of shapes after the transformations, all of these skills are going to help prepare you for the IA. Good luck, have fun, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.